Real Madrid are elite in this competition, a club defined by Champions League success. Now they've lifted the trophy 8 more times than any other team in Europe, and once again they're on the hunt for a historic 16th title. But the path forward won't be simple, standing in their way as a side managed by a man who knows the Bernabéu inside out, José Mourinho, who spent 3 seasons at Los Blancos and now leads Benfica into this knockout round matchup. So if we take a quick look at the bracket, Benfica have been drawn up against Real Madrid, Benfica getting the home game in the first leg and Real Madrid getting the home leg in the second leg. Let's talk about these two teams though, because Benfica, they're coming off that historic moment that happened in match day 8, but we haven't seen a great Benfica side this Champions League. They lost their first 4 games in this league phase.
Yeah.
But do you think that moment will now change the whole direction the club is going in this Champions League? Do you think they'll be riding off that momentum going into this game?
I would hope so for their sake. José Mourinho is a manager that, with his motivation, can refocus a team. They lost to Carabao at home on match day 1, then they beat Real Madrid at home on match day 8. I think that just kind of tells the story, but the turnaround has been more recent than long-term. Right before this weekend, 200 fans showed up at Seixal, which is the Benfica training ground. And you know when 200 fans show up.
Protest.
Otamendi called it support, the captain of Benfica, right? I think the Argentine center back has now played 100 games in the Champions League, understands a little bit about the dynamic of what the fans want to see. I mean, for gosh sakes, there was talk in Portugal about Mourinho possibly losing his job if they didn't make the next stage. But now everything has shifted because of a goal, not from their top goal scorer, not from their center back on a set piece, but from their goalkeeper. So there is a little bit of aura, especially since the matchup repeats immediately. There definitely is going to be a newfound belief in Benfica going into this matchup.
Yeah, look, they have a goal scorer, Renan Pavlidis, right? They've got leadership in Otamendi. Of course, this is a magical moment, and it's something you can build on. Remember, José Mourinho took over in Champions League in match day 2 against Chelsea, right? And, okay, a 1-0 loss, but they looked a little bit more organized. But he said right after the game, and the reason I remember I called that game was the fact that he said, you know, we've got some work to do here. Like, this team's been battered. Remember, this is Benfica. Plays at the Stadium of Light, right? This is historically one of the biggest clubs in Europe. Jose, I thought was interesting yesterday, was almost brought to tears in an interview when he talked about, I'm kind of doing this for my people, right? And he was really talking about Portuguese football because you know how the pride that they take in, because I think Portugal is kind of looked at as like the 6th best league in the world, right? We always talk about the top 5 all the time, and they're always trying to fight to get in there. Really organized side, and they've got such a great story. I was wanting this matchup. I just wonder, like, now that we're 15 minutes out of the draw, you know, I'm like, could we really have that much drama again? But, man, it gave us a lot to think about. So this will be fun. You imagine match day 2 with these two sides, and there's a moment where Turbine has to go up, like again, what that stadium's going to feel like, you know, when they get there. It's going to be fun.
I'm thinking what type of reception Mourinho's going to get at the Bernabéu once again, right? He hasn't been back to play Real Madrid. They played Manchester United, Real Madrid, but it was in a Super Cup. And although we tend to romanticize a lot when we look at the past, Mourinho was a very divisive figure when he was at Real Madrid. There are talks and assumptions that he split up the Spanish national team because of the clásicos that were played under José Mourinho when he was at Real Madrid, that he pushed out Iker Casillas. He didn't want Casillas friends with the Barcelona players, and he ceded a lot of that divisiveness. Ultimately, he never won a Champions League. Excuse me. But one of the guys that really took under Mourinho's wing was Álvaro Arbeloa. And that's why both managers are very close. So I wonder what type of reception Mourinho is going to get at the Bernabéu in that second leg.
You mentioned the Real Madrid manager there, Álvaro Arbeloa. He hasn't had the best of starts with Real Madrid. He's had 3 wins, 2 losses. Even Kylian Mbappé came out after the game on Wednesday and said, we aren't playing like a team of champions. Do you see them winning this Champions League this year, or do you think they're going to get in their own way?
I think the easy answer is no, right? Because they've got injuries in the back line, and they've made a managerial change, as you mentioned, no Xavi Alonso. Now they got to change the mode. but this is Real Madrid. I mean, I feel like the last couple of years that we've said no about this team, right? And here, the thing that I can't get over in just saying no is you've got two guys on the field that if they're playing poorly on the day, they can flip a game on its head in an instant. In Kylian Mbappe and, of course, Vinny Jr. We haven't spoken about Rodrigo. The problem for this group is in the back. One, they've got Thibaut Courtois, who has saved them time and time again. You go back to the Liverpool final, right? If it's not for Courtois, they don't win championship number 15. Huijsen's been in and out with injuries. Rudiger, of course, we know his story. Again, injuries. Valverde has played. He's better in the midfield, right? But now he's playing right back because of all the injuries they have there. They've been injury ridden. Jude Bellingham hasn't been the same player. But again, I just go back, Nico, to the two guys that on any given day, in any moment, right, they can beat you with one play. And of course, Mbappe now, what has he got? 13 goals so far in this at this stage of the Champions League. That's an incredible haul. I think Cristiano Ronaldo's record is 17, so he's creeping up on that as well. Although that's not going to mean anything here, but you can't ever count this team out.
I agree. I think we were saying the same thing last year. I don't doubt Mbappe. Obviously, I don't think any of us do. I don't doubt Vini either, despite him having a poor season compared to the rest. I think this team has a lot of the same issues from last season.
Question.
Where's the football? Who's the tempo setter? Listen, under Arbeloa, they've had moments where they look a little bit more free, liberated. Yeah, but in the long term, they do look like a team that's still a little bit unorganized. Who is that person that's going to grab the football and give you an idea, a set tempo, a play, break the game up, control, dictate? They don't have that player. Not only that, defensively, I think they're even weaker than last year. So, listen, it's hard to go against Real Madrid in the Champions League. They might have enough quality to get past Benfica over the next two legs. But to win the Champions League, right now, today, I don't see it yet.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how Benfica do against Real Madrid if they ride off that momentum in the win on match day 8. We're going to be taking a quick break here, though, on Morning Footy. We're nearing the Europa League draw.